What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to a quick Overwatch League news video. I did not want to have to wait and make this later in the week or some other time in the future when I do the next news recap because this is insane. Mano has been traded to the Philadelphia Fusion. There was already a lot of rumors and speculation, even some leakers coming out and saying that Mano was getting traded, but besides a couple of different sources I believed, most people kind of just were having to sit there wondering where Mano would get traded. We really didn't know. A lot of people are convinced he'd maybe go to the Gladiators or the Fuel or maybe the Charge, but here he is getting snagged by the Fusion of all teams. A rival team of the alexyOWL swoops in and probably pays a king's ransom to pick up Mano. What a power move by the Fusion. I mean, they really didn't even need Mano all that much because Sato had a really good season. This is well established. We know this. He was one of the top tier main tanks in the Overwatch League, so getting Mano is very strange, but I mean, it is understandable considering he has been the most consistent main tank over the last 3 years. I guess in a way it could be seen as an upgrade because of that consistency, but for the most part, Mano and Sato are around the same level. I think most people would agree with that, but who knows? Maybe there's a very specific reason. Perhaps Sato's getting traded or released or whatever it may be, and they want Mano to be their guy moving forward. Could there also be a world where both of them play together and they both play in specific metas? Yeah, sure. I think that would make the Fusion even more powerful. Looking at it on face value, it's a good move because, I mean, the alexyOWL are shopping Mano, and Mano's one of the best main tanks we've seen in the Overwatch League, so why not get him? But at the same time, on paper, it just feels so weird. I wouldn't be surprised if they also brought on Mano just simply because they want to make certain players on their team they already have happy, like Carpe, for example, who has previous experience working with Mano. Or maybe they're trying to get a certain person to resign, like Fury, because maybe Fury really wanted to play with Mano. It's funny to think about because while it's not a bad trade by any means, it doesn't really seem like a massive upgrade of any kind, but if we go back just 1 year ago, a lot of people would say this is insane. The Fusion just got so much better because back then we didn't think much of Sato, at least most people, at least from the common fans' eyes. But you know, while I'm sitting here and recording this, now that I think about it, this definitely does have the potential to be an upgrade besides the whole consistency factor that Mano brings to the table. Think about the way the alexyOWL utilized Mano last year. They didn't really play around him all that much. They expected him to make a lot of plays, they were hoping he would pop off without giving him a ton of resources. They focused a lot more on the aggressive players on the team like Jonak and the DPS, and even Hoppo to a certain extent because he was such an over-aggressive and feeder type of player. To be brutally honest, Mano kind of got left high and dry a lot. Meanwhile, Sato got a ton of support. I mean, we saw how much better Sato was this year thanks to a better supporting cast and the team seriously giving him resources. He popped off. Now give that to Mano. Think about the potential there. Mano is already widely considered to be one of the best main tanks in the Overwatch League. Now you're giving him more resources that are seriously focusing on him and playing around him, plus a superior coaching staff. Not to mention that the Fusion are going to have a different playstyle compared to the alexyOWL and how they've struggled to find an identity with that over the last year or so. The Fusion could seriously make Mano an even better player than he already is because of the system he's in, and that's a terrifying thought. What do you think about this, ladies and gentlemen? Are the Fusion onto something here? Is this the move that puts them over the top and into a situation where they might be able to win a championship finally? It's too early to tell, but maybe there's something I don't know yet that will become clear as the next season rolls around. I'm still in just complete disbelief over this. Mano gets traded to the Fusion of all teams. This was not a team I was expecting to be in the bidding war for him in a trade. Like, absolutely insane stuff from the Fusion to snag him. But of course, we have to look at it from both points of view, so sorry alexyOWL fans, but we gotta get through this painful moment for you. So, Mano getting traded away is a bit strange. We've kind of known about it for a while, at least anyone who pays attention to the leakers out there. But it still just feels so unrealistic to see him go, and very strange to say the least, considering he's been like their best player over the last 3 years. But with that type of status comes a lot of power, and you're going to express your frustrations if your team can't win, and as we all know, the alexyOWL keep falling short of that goal of winning a championship. They always establish these rosters that are so good, but they can never get it done, and like I was saying before, Mano has every right to be upset also because of the fact that the team did not play around him very well this this year. All of the failure plus this divide with how the team wants to play was probably very frustrating for him, so I can't blame him if he wanted to leave New York. It makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, I am aware that he did really enjoy his time on New York. He really wanted to bring home a title for the loyal fans. He enjoyed being in that city for 3 years and being someone that people look up to, but sometimes you just have to say goodbye if it means that you can find more success in your career because of it. And now the NYXL are left with a massive hole at main tank and just their tank line in general because they have no off tanks either. But I mean, there's also a bunch of players they have to renew the contracts of, like Jonak and Libero and Sabiobi, all of those guys from the original Season 1 roster. They all could be gone too, potentially. I'm not going to say they are or they aren't because I have no idea, but it's just a thought because maybe the NYXL want to move on from the past and they want to try and get better. They think that the key to finding success in the future is moving on from their past. They've tried this core for 3 different seasons and it just hasn't worked. They always fall short of that goal that they've been trying to achieve. It could also just be a Mano thing though. Maybe they want to completely rebuild that tank line and then keep everybody else for the most part, maybe trade away 1 or 2 of the guys and just go from there. I don't know what's going to happen at off tank, but all of the leakers out there indicate that Yakpung is going to be the new NYXL main tank, and I know there's going to be mixed feelings about that because Yakpung wasn't all that great in Season 2 of the Overwatch League, but I recommend watching how he's done on O2 Blast because he has improved tremendously and he could definitely be a serviceable player for the NYXL. But I'm not going to confirm or deny if he is going there because I don't want to give you guys any false information. Just know that it's a rumor. It's looking like it's going to be true, but I'm not going to confirm anything. New York's just in this very weird state where they want to kind of move on from the past, but also they want to just get rid of what their future was, apparently. We already saw they got rid of Bianca a while back, but then just today, I believe it was, they decided to say goodbye to Mandu, their new main support. I guess they maybe trust in Animo a bit more. I don't know what the deal is there, but New York's in such a weird state. Not to mention that their head coach IMT, that a lot of people have been praying would get fired, is still there at this current point in time. So New York, I just don't know what they're doing. They really do have the potential to be the worst they've ever been in their franchise's history in Season 4. If you have a better idea or theory as to what the NYXL are trying to accomplish, let me know down in the comment section because I'm stumped right now. This seriously is the first time ever that I can remember at least where they feel directionless, like they feel hopeless in a way. They don't know what they're doing. They're in full-on panic mode. Is this the end of an era? Is 3 years all it's going to be from the NYXL, the team that's been the model of excellence over these last couple of years? I know that this year in particular, they weren't as good or as dominant as in Seasons 1 or 2, but they still had a pretty, respectable record, I would say. Season 4 might be the first year where they don't have that. They might just be a middle-of-the-pack team, depending on how they rebuild here. The NYXL have officially been added to my list of teams that I'm very interested in paying attention to during this offseason. Things keep getting juicier and juicier in this offseason. It's absolute madness, and it's still only just the beginning. I mean, we still got plenty of time to go before the free agency window is done and the season begins. And with that said, that's going to wrap up this news video. Let me know what you guys think of Mano getting traded over to the Fusion, and if you guys enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new so you don't miss out on any of my future Overwatch League news content. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.